Regret is a poison, the kind that seeps into your thoughts, the kind that can make you feel like you made all the wrong choices or second guess each decision you make. Regret is especially dangerous because it always promises a better outcome. If only you had done that thing earlier or made a different decision, your life might be everything you dreamed of now. You're only stuck because you made bad decisions. You should have started sooner. You should have spent more time with family. You should have... Regret is probably one of the biggest long-term fears for a lot of us. We fear that we'll get to the end of our lives and look back on everything we've done with regret. Maybe we regret something we didn't do, some idea that we've always wanted to try, but we never got around to trying. But then when we finally do start, we regret that we didn't start earlier. I've been there. I've lamented the choices I've made, looked back and imagined if I had made different ones. I've created whole narratives in my head around choosing a different career path. I imagine what my life would look like right now, what different skills I would have if I had chosen something different, or imagine pursuing my hobbies, the things I've always wanted to do earlier. What if I hadn't let fear of being on camera, of public speaking, or putting myself out there hold me back? Long-term regret is dangerous in that way, but so is short-term regret. I've dropped my favorite bowl and thought, if only I had been more careful, if only I had paid more attention to what I was doing. I've been a few minutes late to an event and thought, if only I had left the house a few minutes earlier. The mind is a powerful place, which means that regrets have plenty of room to flourish. But fortunately for us, that also means that there are plenty of ways to create safeguards against feeling regret. If you follow these 3 simple rules, you'll remove a lot of the regret you feel from your life. The first rule is to not think about regret when something bad happens. Meditation experts often talk about meditation as practice, as a way to continue to practice training your mind to be more still and present. And this is much the same way. You need to practice training your mind to not immediately go to regret when something bad happens. You need to focus on changing your type 2 response when you start to feel regret. Daniel Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow describes type 1 thinking as the immediate unconscious response to a stimulus and type 2 as our measured rational response. That means you might not be able to control your type 1 response, that pang of regret you feel when you make a bad decision or you drop your favorite bowl, but you can train your type 2 response. So after you feel that type 1 pang of regret, you need to center yourself in the present. See, regret is always a past-based emotion. It's always wishing we had done something differently in the past. So after you feel the type 1 initial emotional response, you need to focus on centering yourself in the present as your type 2 response. See, regret is always based in the past. It's always, I wish I had done something differently in the past. I wish I had made a different choice in the past. The harsh truth is that you just can't get the past back. The past is past and you can never change the decisions that were made. So focus on what you can do now. And an easy way to do this is to ask yourself a simple question. What am I going to do about it? If you drop a dish, you need to clean up the dish and then either search for a replacement or live without it. When you focus on the real decision at hand, you shift your brain away from the imagined world of regret. And you can do this with long-term regrets too. If you find yourself caught up thinking about what could have been, just ask yourself, what can I do now? The past is past, the decisions I've made are past, but what can I do about it now? Sometimes the answer is nothing. Sometimes the answer is do the thing that you wanted to do that you regret not doing. But when you break it down into a simple choice of either action or inaction, that gives you a new focus, a focus away from regret towards the present and towards the future. Second, you need to shift your focus from wishing for a different outcome to seeing the good in the one you received. A great way to do this is to write out your thoughts in a journal or notes app. If there's a decision in the past you regret, write out everything that the decision brought. Write out the immediate effects and the longer lasting effects. Write the story of how that decision turned you into the person you are today. Write about how it made you more wise, showed you your ability to overcome adversity, or indirectly brought you the good things you have now. If I had chosen to study a different subject in college or a different career path, for example, I wouldn't have met some of my best friends. I wouldn't have gotten a job that allowed me to work remotely, spending time at home with my dogs. I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to explore my creativity in the way I have over the past couple of years. Follow the story of your regret through to its final conclusion. You, right now, in the present. Who you are as a result of each and every choice you've made in the past, even the ones you regret. Third, you have to practice acceptance and learning. One of my favorite parts of Stoic philosophy is how the philosophers talk about life as practice. Each day, each unpleasant situation is a chance to practice the virtues we espouse. Every single day presents an opportunity to learn something and to better ourselves. Sometimes we need to apply that philosophy to our regrets. There's some decisions we make that no matter how much we look at the good that came out of it or try to focus on the way forward, it's clear to us that we've made the wrong choice. In that situation, all you can do is practice accepting the decision that happened and its consequences, and then take what you can to learn from it. And it's not an easy step to take. This is probably the hardest one out of the three, if this is the one you're forced to take, because it involves admitting you were wrong, that you made the wrong decision, and nobody likes to admit that they were wrong. But it's often a necessary step to teach us what we can do better in the future. So next time you feel regret, take a second to feel that feeling. Feel the type 1 response, but then think about your type 2 response. In that moment, do you need to take action to move forward, or do you need to practice acceptance? Or is it a long-term regret and you need to practice seeing the benefits that it brought your life, the way it inadvertently made you who you are? And above all, remember that all of this is practice. Everything you do mentally, every way you try to train yourself to be better mentally is just practice. So don't beat yourself up for feeling regret. Feel the feeling, try to train your type 2 response, and don't worry about failing. Don't make yourself regret feeling regret in the first place.